Okay, in assignment 3-1, we are asked to find the surface area of a rectangular prisms. So I included this little illustration here just so we're clear about what surface area means. So surface area is the area of each side of a shape. We're not thinking about what's inside, the space inside of the shape. So for example, if somebody asked you to build this rectangular prism, you would want to know how much material you need for each side. So if you think about it and you study this shape a little bit, you'll realize that you have a top, that would be the green color, and you have a bottom that will be the same size. And you have two sides, we'll call that the blue side. You have two of them that are the same, and then you have a front, which we'll call the pink side, and the back, and those would also be the same. So you can find the area of the front, and you're going to multiply that by 2 because you have two of them. And then also, just as a reminder, surface area, to find the surface area of a rectangle, you multiply the base times the height, or the length times the width. So let's look at problem number 1 here. Let's look at the side that's most obvious to me to look at right now is this, what we'll call the side. We have a prism here that has a side of 10, a base of 10 and a height of 3. Okay. So I have two of them. So let's call that the sides. I'll make that a little clearer. The sides, I have two of them, and their area would be 10 times 3. And then now let's look at the top and the bottom. I will do that in a different color. So the top and the bottom, here's the top. And then we have a bottom, which we can't see. So let's put top and bottom. I have two of them. And the base is 10. Okay, that's 10. And the height here would be 8, because you can see that the depth there is 8. So it's 2 times 10 times 8. And then I have a front and a back. So I'll use a different color for that. How about yellow? We have a front and back. And there's two of them, so the front and the back would be this shape here, this rectangle here. So it has the base is 8. Okay, the side is 8, and the height is 3. It tells us the height over here. So we have 8 times 3. Okay. So now I just have to figure out what these are. So I have 10 times 3, which is 30, and I have two of them. So 10 times 3 times 2 is 60. And here I have 10 times 8, so that's 80, and I have two of them, so that would total 160. Well, let me keep my colors the same. 160. And then for the front and the back, I have 8 times 3 is 24, and I have two of them, so I have 48. Okay, now I just have to add those three numbers together, and if I do, I get a total of 268 yards. I'm just going to write it here. I have 268 yards squared. Okay. In problem number 2, I have a cube. And when you have a cube, all sides are the same. So if I look at the front side, I have a base of 3 and a height of 3. Okay. And then, so if you think about that, how many of those sides do I have that are exactly the same? How many sides are in a cube? Well, a cube even though this one here is not a cube, it's still a rectangular prism, and a cube is a kind of rectangular prism. So there's 6 sides to that. Okay, so I have this area 3 times 3, 6 times. So I'm just going to write that I have 3 times 3, 6 times. So I have 6 times 3 times 3 is 9. So the surface area of this cube is 54 inches squared. Okay, so remember, when you're trying to find surface area, all you're doing is finding the area of each side of the shape. And a lot of times you're going to have 2 sides that are exactly the same. So you're going to figure out you really only have to find the area of 3 different sides, and then you multiply that by 2. But sometimes the sides aren't. The sides are all the same. When you have a cube, they're going to all be the same, and that makes it a little bit easier, I think.